Cover-ups are at the core of Donald Trump's administration, and it's not just his Jeffrey Epstein scandal or Pete Hegseth's leaks that this administration has worked to hide. Their latest cover-up of Donald Trump's both failing cognitive and physical health might be their worst attempt to distract the media so far, because it is so quickly and so badly blown up in their face. Because Lawrence O'Donnell recently covered how Donald Trump's White House has attempted to hide his cankles in photos that they post, and Donald Trump is furious about it, melting down on Truth Social in a crazed post that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into the crazy post that Donald Trump made after his cankles were exposed, I want to start with the exposing happening by Lawrence O'Donnell.
The White House released this photograph of the intervention showing how Donald Trump chose to hide his newest problem during the intervention: his ankles. After photographers have repeatedly captured Donald Trump's swollen ankles over the last month, the White House released a statement saying that the swollen 79-year-old ankles were a symptom of chronic venous insufficiency. That's one of the ways a lifetime of McDonald's junk food catches up with you. One of the places those Big Macs are going to show up is in the ankles, hanging over the edge of your shoes. We can only wonder if the White House would have ever admitted that Donald Trump's blood circulation is insufficient if not for the telephoto lenses of White House photographers zooming in on the ankles Donald Trump now wants no one to see. On Friday in Alaska, Vladimir Putin's 72-year-old ankles showed none of the mileage of Donald Trump's ankles. And yesterday, Donald Trump made sure no one was going to be able to compare his ankles to a French president's ankles or a German chancellor's or a British prime minister's. And so the Resolute desk became the perfect place to hide those ankles. Presidents actually rarely sit at the Oval Office desk like that during meetings in the Oval Office with people from outside the White House staff. The president usually sits in one of those chairs in front of the fireplace. That's where the president always sat in every Oval Office meeting I was in when I worked in the Senate. But Donald Trump now has an extra incentive to stay behind the desk, because the Resolute desk will help him hide at least one of his problems. But that is the only problem the desk can help Donald Trump hide.
Donald Trump's administration is corrupt, it is criminal, they're causing chaos constantly. But more than anything, this is just an embarrassing group of people. It's embarrassing how pathetic they are. Oh, dear Leader Trump, let me cover your cankles with a desk, with a plane. Let's throw some slop on your face and on your hands to hide all of your many blemishes because you look so good, dear Leader Trump. Don't look at your reflection, though, in the tacky gold you've plastered all over the Oval Office. It is just embarrassing, especially as they sell us out to billionaires to fund massive tax cuts while stripping health care. And before we get to the post Trump made about his poor personal health, I want to start with Senator Ossoff talking about just that.
Republicans, independents, Democrats know this is not good for our state. I mean, this policy is deeply unpopular in Georgia. That's why J.D. Vance is coming. You can rest assured I will be campaigning in Evans County and reminding those folks that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and their Republican representatives passed a bill willfully and knowingly that has deprived their hospital, their little hospital, they're an hour away from any other hospital, of millions of dollars in funding when we already have a healthcare crisis in the state of Georgia. That's why Vance is here, because they are in trouble in Georgia, and he's trying to rescue them from their own mistakes.
This presents just the perfect contrast in Donald Trump's administration, that they will do anything, move any mountain, take any step to cover up Trump's health scandal, but they don't actually care about the healthcare crisis in America. That is just a perfect encapsulation of what MAGA in this White House specifically is about. And of course, Donald Trump is not happy that that's coming to light, and so he freaked out in a Truth Social post. Trump goes off deep end after MSNBC mocks cankle cover-up. MSNBC is doing so poorly in the ratings that they are looking to change their name in order to get away from the stench of their fake news product. So much fun to watch their weak and ineffective owner, Comcast, headed by dopey Brian Roberts, hopelessly and aimlessly flailing in the wind in an attempt to disassociate itself from the garbage that they created. MSNBC is a failure by any name. Yeah, so it looks like Donald Trump is not that happy with the good reporting happening at MSNBC. He's not happy with the cankle coverage, and I'm surprised that he's doing all caps posts at this point, considering that Gavin Newsom has just kind of reclaimed that from him. And I don't know how much time y'all spend on Twitter, but what Gavin Newsom is doing is just truly spectacular trolling of Donald Trump, not just because he's mocking him, but somehow conservatives have fallen for it. We saw Dana Perino the other day say that this is embarrassing and it's unbecoming of the office of governor, that Gavin Newsom should have more respect and dignity and needs to be focused on his work, and that his wife should go out of her way to stop him from posting on a press account that's not run by him. Gavin Newsom isn't sending these posts. Of course, he's happy that the trolling is happening. I'm sure he's encouraging his great staffers to do it. But Donald Trump actually posts like this. It's not a game. He's not doing it for a bit. He's just deranged. And the fact that MAGA can't make the connection and that Kid Rock is astonished that Gavin Newsom is calling him out and taking the bait and quote tweeting them, engaging with it, it just goes to show that all these conservatives are completely out of touch, and the people who say bring back comedy can't even understand the subtlety of mockery. These are not smart people. They play a petty personal politics when they are only consumed with their feelings. You hear conservatives, especially younger conservative influencers or creators or commentators, talk a lot about how Republicans believe in common sense. They think their party is aligned with common sense. You hear that phrase a lot. It's because what they take to be common sense is just their feelings, anecdotal evidence they use from their lives that they want to put on their arguments. But it doesn't work because they don't actually understand the world around them. They don't know how the world works. They live in a bubble and they're stupid as hell. Point blank. That is all you need to know about MAGA. That is what is going on. That is what is happening with a group of people that doesn't understand how the world works. Because if they did, they'd be even more upset about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and their time they spent together. But clearly, not as many MAGA Republicans are, although some are, and it's only going to pick up as we continue to see more conversations like this about the abuse of power at the DOJ.
From what one former senior official called Bundy's ferociously sycophantic rhetoric about the president to the purges of career staff. Bundy, many have concluded, has turned the Justice Department into a mere arm of the White House. The Attorney General's chief of staff, Chad Mizell, actually told Ruth Marcus, quote, "We actually get to do everything that the president wants us to do, everything that Pam wants us to do." Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is back with us. And Senator, that last statement by this Chad Mizell, we actually get to do everything that the president wants us to do and everything that Pam wants us to do, is specifically what all previous administrations refused to allow to occur in the Justice Department.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody, you don't even have to be a lawyer to understand that there are several dimensions to being president. One is that you are the president of the United States. The other is that you are the political head of your party and have a political aspect to your life. And the third is that you have your personal and your business life, and that's your other persona. And what the Department of Justice is supposed to respond to is the president acting as the president. And the fact that this Department of Justice doesn't parse out that when it's billionaire Trump and his business interests that are talking, they really shouldn't be listening. When it's political Trump and his political agenda that's being pursued, they shouldn't be listening. When he's acting as president, yeah, that's when you should be listening. But the fact that they don't recognize this division of the aspects of a president's life and fence off the stuff where they should not be his operatives, it's pretty telling. And the way the whole department runs now, it's kind of equal parts, gangster and gong show, with that thug Emil Bove, who's headed for the Third Circuit as the true gangster, and weaponization dude Martin as the gong show guy, literally showing up in like trench coats, playing, special agent man in front of people's homes. And then who knows what Todd Blanche was up to? Was he suborning perjury when he went to go see Ghislaine Maxwell? Was he running a political errand for Trump? Was it just clownishly bad judgment on his part? But I don't think you have to be a very experienced prosecutor to know that this is a Department of Justice that is way, way, way off the rails. And as I said in the first segment, the last people in the world that they want to notice that are noticing that. And that is the federal judges that have to appear in front of day in and day out.
And everything that you just described, from the weirdo in the trench coat in 88 degrees in a New York City sidewalk patrolling or something outside of the New York Attorney General's home, all of this stuff, the going to Ghislaine Maxwell in Florida to interview her, all of that's happening theoretically under the supervision of Attorney General Pam Bondi. But one also gets the feeling that people like Todd Blanche are working on direct orders from his previous criminal client, Donald Trump, who Todd Blanche represented in court as a criminal defendant. All of this is happening under the roof that's supposed to be controlled by Pam Bondi.
Yeah, at the end of the day, she is the Attorney General of the United States, and it is her responsibility to manage the affairs of the Department of Justice. And when she's letting all this nonsense happen and not knocking heads together when this nonsense happens, that's a sign that she is frankly not in real control of the department, that it's all of these MAGA types charging around just trying to be as enthusiastically MAGA as possible for Donald Trump, but damaging their own reputations and damaging the department's reputation. And again, most importantly, damaging the credibility of the department with the district judges of the federal bench.
Pam Bondi is a bad sock puppet. That is what she is for Donald Trump. She is an appendage of Donald Trump and nothing more. And I do not want to act like that is not the case, because it is, by the way. And we're going to keep calling it out on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.